I confess that I will masturbate furiously later tonight while thinking about the Canadian women's Olympic hockey team. Hashtag going for the gold. Ooh. Thank you very much.
This podcast is intended for those 18 and over. If that's not you, please come back when you are of age. Thank you for listening to the BedPost Confessions podcast. BedPost Confessions is an Austin-based live storytelling series featuring smart, sexy stories. Between performers, we ask audience members to anonymously submit anything worthy of a confession, which is then read aloud by one of our producers. The performance you're about to hear was recorded on February 20th, 2014. Mandi Chase Wolfe will share her thoughts on boobs. Here is Mandi.
I love breasts. Breasts, boobs, titties. Big breasts, itty bitty breasts, perky breasts, torpedo breasts. I love them all. Breasts with little nipples, dinner plate nipples, clothes hanger nipples. And my personal favorite, inverted nipples. I like to think that inverted nipples have special powers. I don't know about you outies, but as an innie, I have to say that my nipples are a direct channel to my sexuality. And I never have to worry about my headlights being on. The wild variations of breast shapes and sizes are intriguing to me. I can find beauty in all of them. I love my breasts. I love your breasts. I love her breasts. If your breasts are there for me to see, I'm a-looking. I am no stranger to the struggle to maintain eye contact with the owner of a voluptuous pair. Sometimes I stand in the mirror and I admire my own. I can't help but notice the imperfections. One's bigger than the other. There are a few silvery stretch marks. And, a hair. What the fuck is that about? What evolutionary purpose does nipple hair serve? Anyway, my variations of normal are noticeable, but I also see the general softness and porcelain curves. I see beauty, femininity, and realness in their flaws. In my reflection, I can envision my breasts inviting some poor soul's tearful head to rest, giving comfort that only a bosom can provide. These things, these lumps of glorified fatty tissue that my clothes accentuate, that my bras lift, and that the public eye begs to see, I can't change them. So I've worked hard to love them. I shouldn't have had to work so hard. I've always enjoyed the eroticism of my breasts. No better way to derail all of my thought processes than to cop a feel and end with a gentle pinch of the nip. At least that was until my fun time bags became breasts. Breasts. When I became a mom, my breasts were no longer mine or my husband's, but were now subject to the dictatorship of a tiny human being who begged for them more than any man I have ever met. I have to say, though, I do think that breastfeeding has given me some insight into the male erection. Stay with me. Stimulation causes a fluid to build up, makes the breast hard until there is an uncontrollable climax. And if that climax is interrupted, the discomfort of engorgement sets in. The female version of blue balls. blue breasts, maybe. So then I sulk off alone, take care of it myself, begrudgingly attach my pump to my breasts. If you've ever heard a breast pump, you know that noise. And sure, it works well enough, but it's just not quite as satisfying. I feel for you guys and your poor blue balls. So while this insight has been quite valuable, these breasts are not just for fun anymore. Now they're for my infant and even my 3, soon-to-be 4-year-old, who admires them greatly. She often caresses them when she thinks I'm not paying attention. It's just out of awe and curiosity. She knows they have power. And now my breasts are all business. I've had doctors, lactation consultants, other moms, and as I became more comfortable, pretty much everyone in my general vicinity seeing and sometimes even touching my breasts. But it's not sexy. It's work. It's a sacrifice. My breasts are still fun for everyone, but just in a different way. Whether it's my nursling, feeding while simultaneously clutching and pinching the opposite nipple. Seriously, why? Why? Or my 4-year-old telling the story of the time mommy went on the boat and her boobs went a-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. No, really, she has told this story weekly since our boat trip in August. And then there's my husband trying to sneak in some time for himself here and there. But it's clear that things are no longer the same. For one thing, my view of the eroticism of my breasts is totally different. I am now known to give dirty looks and swat at my husband if he so much as looks longingly at my breasts while I nurse. It really must be... It really must be torture for him to have them so close yet so far away. He doesn't complain. I know some people are into age play and milk fetishes, and honestly, after some thought, I can kind of understand the draw, but breastfeeding is not sexy for me. Think of like the sexiest thing ever combined with a not sexy but endearing, sweet thing. Like maybe receiving the best oral sex you've ever had while your grandma endearingly strokes your hair. Ugh. Oil and water, my friends. Or fore milk and hind milk. Did you know that breast milk cannot be duplicated by science? It has antibacterial properties that can heal pink eye, ear infections, eczema, and sinus infections. That's right. I put that shit straight in my neti pot. Hey, I haven't had to buy antibiotics in years. Breastfeeding reduces the mother's chances of breast cancer and helps her lose weight. Breast milk takes on the flavor of foods, giving breastfed toddlers a better palate for healthy choices later in life. It reduces the risk of childhood obesity, diabetes, and cancer. Best of all, it calms fussy babies, and it's free. Breast milk is fucking magic. It's not ew. I've tasted my own breast milk, and it is sweet, totally palatable. I'm pretty certain that my husband has tasted it during foreplay, too. I'm impressed. No ews? But who cares? Worst case scenario, it gives him superpowers. I bet you that after a night of heavy drinking, a shot of breast milk would alleviate a hangover. Hell, give me some rum and some Kahlua, and I will make my own White Russians. party all night. So this is what kills me. My non-lactating breasts are quite popular. Delightful toys for the joy of men and women alike. Titties, titties, titties. But whip out a breast for its intended purpose? Ludicrous. How dare you feed your baby in the presence of others? You might offend someone. Breasts and nipples, in my opinion, need not be covered solely because they have secondary sexual characteristics. The city of Austin agrees with me. I can walk through downtown with my shirt off, and it is perfectly legal. Texas also has a lesser-known law regarding my breasts, which makes me wonder, how many laws do you think there are governing men's bodies? Just a thought. But that law says that I can breastfeed anywhere that I am authorized to be. So some people might say, sure, but with a cover because, modesty, right? It is totally unrealistic to think that every baby will tolerate a blanket draped over their head. Do you want to eat with a napkin over your face? I will cover my baby while she eats when all those bottle-feeding perverts stop waving around their nipple dildos and cover that shit up. If I can freely use a fake nipple to feed or soothe my baby, it should be perfectly acceptable for me to use a real one. Just as most people would be terribly offended by a stranger's penis wagging in their face. Okay, let's face it, probably not any of you. They would probably be only slightly more comfortable if someone were to wag a lifelike dildo in their face. So if you're not offended at all when I feed my baby with a fake nipple, you should maybe only be a little uncomfortable when I use my real one. And you know what? I purposefully covered this shit tonight because I know about you. I know about you. But you know what? We're slightly uncomfortable on the daily. Like when someone crop dusts us with a rank fart. Or someone leans over and shows their plumber's crack. Or even better yet, their whale tail. But we don't tell them to leave or do that somewhere else. We don't say anything. We giggle at our discomfort and we move on. So people say, what the fuck, Mandi? You just said there are all these deviants out there lusting after your breast milk. Don't you want to cover those bodacious milky tatas up? And I say no. Just like I don't hide my feet for the sake of foot fetishists, or refuse to pee in a public restroom to avoid people who like water play. Nope. I will nurse with reckless abandon, just as I have openly shared my cleavage all these years. I've come to terms with my breasts, and I am reclaiming my fun time bags. While breastfeeding has changed my relationship with my breasts, I am slowly starting to give them their sexual freedom back, letting them loose as I sway back and forth as I walk around the house, pushing them up occasionally to show off a little cleavage, allowing a fondle or two, and sometimes even asking for one. The best thing about my forever changed breasts is that they're now super, super soft. Soft and comforting, like a mother's breast should be. While perky has its benefits, I gotta give my breasts some mad respect. They were the sole source of nutrition, giving life to my children, all on their own for 6 months. And then they have continued to give them nutrition and immunities they need to be healthy and strong well into toddlerhood. Besides, I can make soft and comforting sexy. I can walk around with confidence, topless and tight jeans. my husband's personal favorite. And I can feel like the sexiest woman on earth, soft, silver-ridden breasts and all, because they're what I've got, and they're amazing. All breasts are amazing and powerful and worthy of respect. We cannot compare our breasts to each other because they are as diverse, if not more so, as the population of the country that we live in. What we see on TV is not all that there is. So if I ever do find myself comparing myself to those awful fashion magazines in the checkout line and start to feel dragged down by the fallacy of my abnormal breasts, I just remember my 3-year-old saying, "I want boobies like yours, Mama, so I can feed baby sister." A boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom.
Mandi Chase Wolfe is no stranger to the BedPost stage as a sign language interpreter. This is her second time performing a story of her very own. Mandi is the mother of 2, a breastfeeding lactivist, supporter of evidence-based birth, and the creator of the Good Body Project, which works to promote positive body image and reestablish the lost love connection between the mind and the body. More at thegoodbodyproject.com. BedPost Confessions is produced by myself, Mia Martina of the I Want Your Sex podcast at miaontop.com, Julie Gillis of juliegillis.com, and Sadie Smythe of that'swhatsadisaid.com. Podcast audio production by Ian Danskin at innuendostudios.com. You can find links to all of our websites and more information about BedPost Confessions at bedpostconfessions.com. You can also confess with us at BedPost Confessions on Facebook and BedPost Confess on Twitter, where we tweet audience confessions. Chime in and add yours. Until next time, we'll leave you with a few other confessions from the audience.
I confess I'm in love with my boyfriend and my husband, their girlfriend, my play partner and friend. They're elated. That's a lot. When we're all having sex together, it's beyond hot. I bet because the room probably gets very steamy. And I would imagine there's some geometric negotiation. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. It's a hexagon.
It's funny. That's very similar to the confession I was about to read, which is, I confess, I'm here tonight with my wife, her girlfriend, my girlfriend, her husband, and my girlfriend's husband's girlfriend. Maybe a diagram would help.
I'm here by my... Oh my God.
And do you know what I say to that? Hooray for polyamory!
Oh my